Alright, Abzan Hero. If you didn't check out my article already, there is a full primer on this deck list, including a wonderful sideboard guide, because I know folks love those. They have the ins and outs for all the popular matchups in the format. That's basically a grindy tokens mid-range deck that has Hero of the Precinct One, and we leverage these tokens with cards like Vraska, Golgari Queen to turn them into card draw, or Tristani to turn them into extra beatdown. We got other just like really good quality answers in Mortify and Trophy, and good threats like Seraph and Vivien. You're starting at the 95th percentile. Let's see if we can make some headway back into the top 1,000 with this today. I want to build this deck. I only need 40 more wild cards. This deck is a wild card eater, that is for sure. Okay. Tithe Taker is very good against these Reclamation decks. Makes their counter spells awkward, makes them play out on their turn more often. He's day 9 attempt to play an Antiquities deck on Monday. I missed that one. What was I doing Monday? Oh, I think I ran late on Monday. That's what happened. The opponent's deck does play Fiery Cannonade, which is the card that needs to be on our radar. Card's pretty reasonable against us. We have Trophies and Mortifies, which are good here. Get to keep them off of their Wilderness Reclamation, as well as killing things like Niv Mizzet. I feel like we see the opponent's deck with some regularity. So I think I'm gonna play Seraph of the Scales. Just get pressure into play that's a little bit resilient to Fiery Cannonade here. I wonder if this is a matchup where I'm supposed to board Hero out just because of the Fiery Cannonade. Someone said they haven't seen this deck for a while. I agree. The opponent's deck isn't super popular anymore, and it's not one that's on my sideboard guide. Oh, I clicked on the wrong seed. Thank you. I'm gonna move that other one to the bottom really quick so I don't, Alright. That mistake shouldn't happen again, hopefully. Thanks for the heads up. When I started screwing with things this morning, I created a secondary scene so that way I could switch back if I didn't like it. I think I'm happy with this. Oh, my picture needs to go over a little bit, huh? Because when we're in ranked, it pushes the pips over a little bit. Not too big of a deal. Great, Duress is great. Trophy's great. I wonder if it's crazy to cut Hero. All these afterlife threats seem better in the face of the stuff that they're doing. Can you make a sideboard guide for how to make your own guide? Yeah, you cut the bad cards and you put the good ones back in. Hey, Toon Stream, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. So shipping your Beza bucks this way this month. I appreciate it. Let's try this. Let's experiment. It's the super secret sauce that they don't want you to know about. Who's they, you ask? You don't want to know. Master sideboarding with these 3 easy steps. Number 2 will shock you. Vraska's medium here only kills as Canton loses value because of cut Hero. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I agree with that assessment. So maybe the second Ajani is better than the Vraska. Or maybe I leave a couple of heroes in. I could see that. Yeah, I agree. I think I like that suggestion. I'm gonna cut, if we go to a game 3, I'm gonna cut the Vraskas and bring in a second Ajani and maybe leave 2 heroes in. And I guess Ajani makes Hero better in the face of Fiery Cannonade, just because it does push Hero out of Cannonade range very quickly. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Cause it's a sneaper keeper, do 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 do, ooh ba ba do ba ba do 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 do, do 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 do. Rats! Every time they growth spiral into and don't have a land, it's just like one of those fist pump moments. You're just like, yeah, get you. Oh, do they not have a 4th land? That's good for us. Sweet. Alright, so I am going to Oglarch rather than second Tithe Taker. Because if they have a Fiery Cannonade, I'd rather they kill these 2 than kill both Tithe Takers. Especially with them missing lands, 1 Tithe Taker is fine. No Lava Coil is great for us. This is probably just second Taker into Memorial to Folly. Okay. Yep. I think I just want to land pass here. This would definitely be better as an Ajani or a hero here. Things to think about. Yep. They go land Niv Mizzet. I'm a little sad that I burned my Mortify, but like Wilderness Reclamation is really good, so I think it's worth taking that off the table. They're at 11 here still. Was not the Vivien that I needed for Christmas. Probably dead here. I'll take one more draw step, but I assume we're not beating this untap with Niv. I'm gonna float green and do this first, just in case I hit Vivien. Oh, magic. I'm not going to board in these extra heroes. I'll put one in. 8 2-drops, 8 2-drops, sure. 8 2-drops. Why the scoop? Because my opponent has a Niv Mizzet in play. And we're going to die. Because they get a draw from the Niv, they get a Surveil, they get a draw step to try and hit any of their cards that draw more cards, so we're statistically dead from there. So, like, keep waiting for my opponent to make more decisions when my goal is to play as many games as possible is not ideal. I'd much rather move along to the next game where I have a much better chance of winning than stay in that one where I'm, like, single-digit percentages to win. Some absurdly low amount. Yeah, like sitting there waiting for them to make decisions, all of which likely lead to us losing, just like isn't good TV and isn't fun for me to play. Alright, this hand would like to draw lands for the next 4 turns or so. See if that can happen. I assume this hand is going to draw 3 and 4 mana spells. We're just going to die with Tithe Taker getting lava coiled, but, you know, them's the beats sometimes. This is the Magic the Gathering that we play. So hope to run good. Maybe we'll win a match. One of the things this archetype lacks compared to some of the others is that, like, our curve is a little bit higher, and we don't have things like the Explore package or Search for Azcanta to smooth out our draws. Yeah, Knight of Autumn's really great. So, like, if we hit our 3rd land on time that's untapped, we're going to go Tithe Taker into 4-3 most likely. Perfect. Unless they play Search for Azcanta. If they play Search for Azcanta this turn, we'll destroy it with Knight. Andre Strowski tweeted the other day that in the time frame of 1 session, he went from, like, top 100 to 97% to back to top 100. Knight of Autumn, notably being a 4-3 here, is great for us. Because it doesn't die to Shivan Fire, and it doesn't die to Cannonade. And also, like, kind of gives me a 3-turn clock, but I assume one of these 2 things is going to die next turn. There's a good chance there's, like, a Lava Coil or something like that in my future. Ideally, we're going to see them play Wilderness Reclamation, then they'll Chemist's Insight, we'll untap Knight of Autumn, their Wilderness Reclamation, hit them for 6. That's kind of annoying. I think I want to just jam this and smack them. If they, like, Lava Coil me and they get to start bunching my Ajani, I feel bad about this decision. But if they don't have Lava Coil for this Knight of Autumn or land 2nd Entrancing Melody, we could be in a good spot. Also, boarding an Entrancing Melody against the Tristani deck seems like an interesting decision. Sweet. So this turn I get to play Knight of Autumn, and then I get to Knight of Autumn, destroy the Search. Huh. So I left this back, which implies that they're going to block, which could let me Tithe Taker, or get the Tithe Taker back, but I think I'd rather just do this. I think we're just going to go ahead and destroy that. Johnny tick up on these. They're going to jump block the 6. So this Tithe Taker, I mean, the Entrancing Melody was pretty good for them here, I guess, which is like the risk is worth the reward in the face of Tristani. Like, this is basically going to gain them, like, 12, right? And it took one of my creatures away. It's my favorite Vanifear list I've played in terms of fun. I think I prefer the Temur Vanifear list, but I'm not sure. I definitely played the Temur Vanifear list the most. One I have the most experience with. Alright. 90. We are the 97%. Onward, upward, backward, forward. Here just talking about there's a Neo bar where his face used to be. I'm confused, but happy to see. But happy I can see the Wind Diamond on the opponent's side. Now what's going on, Handbammer? Old Handbammer. Fantastical. Would love to keep this one. We are 1-0 to start the day. Catching us, this is our start of our 2nd match here. Playing for about 15 minutes. Ugh, don't tell me it's another one. I guess this hand's pretty good if they're another Reclamation deck. Sultai, okay. Y'all ready to grind? I think Sultai means I lead on Hero here. Then I get to go Imperious next turn into Seraph the following turn. Or I get to Mortify this. Burning the Mortify here kind of sucks if they have Hostage Taker next turn. I just want it, so like, I could double spell here with Taker plus Imperious, but I think I'd rather play the Seraph because it just puts more pressure on. Like, getting the evasive threats going in the air here is really important. Like, Seraph into Seraph's gonna close the game out very quickly. I'd kind of like to draw a land here, so I can give my Seraph Vigilance. That being said, they need Vraska Contempt to beat this one. And if they do Vraska's Contempt this, they're tapping out to hit me with this. And then I have, you know, 9 power in play in there at going to 11. The widget on the other side isn't something that works for us because it, what's the word I'm searching for? The widget on the other side, it disrupts the Deckmaster overlay. Are you dead? You block 4 and take 9? Yeah, you're dead. Ajani's great here. Tocatli Honor Guard's great. Trophy's great. Relic Seeker's great. Kaya's not great. Bottom is a little bit mediocre. I think Tithe Taker was the last cut. Sounds right. I'm gonna cheat and look at my sideboard notes just to be sure. I could see trimming some Mortify, but having lots of removal it tends to be okay in this matchup. What did Past Jeff say to do against Sultai? Yeah, look at that. Past Jeff said take out 2 Tithe Takers and 1 Mortify. Look at that. Look at that. Current Jeff agrees with Past Jeff. Could a mod make the % command for the mythic rank actually just not be cheeky and actually describe what it means? Marty's cheeky response was cute at one point, but is actually not descriptive of what the % actually means. Please and thank you. Hobbs, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one. Welcome, welcome. Thought Erasure, eh? Yep. Do you care about Tocatli Honor Guard? You do not appear to. If we get Thief of Sanity next turn, we're going to be pretty sad. This is a free attack into a decision. They want to play around fungal infection. They take a point of damage here. Alright, don't counterspell me. Don't counterspell me. That doesn't do anything because I have a Tocatli Honor Guard. Get out of here. Nice card. Nice card. Alright. Alright. Good shit. Cheerio, mate. Get out of here. Get it. Got it. Good. I think I just let Vraska go away here. I think we just trade for your thief plus a thing. Thanks, Tom. Wow, they had the stroke too, and they just forgot about the Tocatli Honor Guard and the Frilled Mystic. That's great. I believe it's the top 1,200, though. I believe it's top 1,200. No box. You know, they binned 2 lands when they took this card. I wonder if this card's a 3rd land. That would be real good for us. Yeah, I don't know exactly what metric is. Just like my opponent on screen right now shows 1197 as their rank. Looking for a Vivien or a Vraska. Looking for a Planeswalker here. Vraska is excellent. Planeswalker gets to shoot Hydrate Traces.
Haven't forgotten how to destroy things.
Don't really want to trade my hero for the Frilled Mystic. That's the worst Plague Thief. You hit them and take 3 lands. Just help my opponent. Yep, just like cleared 3 bricks off the top of my deck. God bless. This is match 2, game 2. And if they don't have a way to get rid of my queen at the moment, then she's going to propel me into more card advantage, which is the point at which the game starts snowballing in my favor. Okay. Just say top 1,200, Tom. They must not have updated their stuff. I think I'm supposed to do this. It gives up the Tocatli, but I think that's okay. I was kind of hoping for a 2-spell turn this turn.
Except me.
They have like Hostage Taker. I feel real bad about that block, but I think it's important to keep my Vraska alive, and taking their Frilled Mystic off the table seems important too. Sure. What's going on, Toxic Flames? Thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, I mean, they're almost on E, so if I hit, like, another Vraska here, we're like, at parity, or I'm ahead. Looking for one of our payoff cards here. That's kind of a payoff. In a way. Yeah, the way this game is playing out, I'm pretty convinced this is a land. This is a Hydrate Crisis. That would be vomit-inducing. No, they're tapping lands manually. Must be a 3-drop. Yep. This'll be the Hydrate Crisis. And this is why the Sultai deck's really good, right? The Sultai deck's similar to our deck in that, like, once you get your first piece of card advantage going, your card advantage snowballs, right? 1 Assassin's Trophy, please. Vivien of our own. Alright. I want to tap, so I leave black and white up. There's no mention of how to sideboard against Gates. Concede the match and move on to the next one. There could be an argument for taking Memorial there. I actually don't think Gates is that great in the format because it's really bad against both Nexus of Fate and aggro decks, but Gates just devours these mid-range decks. You don't have a chance. These decks aren't aggressive enough. Alright, here's open for a Tristani next turn. Yeah, like, if your hard matchup's a fringe deck like Gates, like, that's a fine place to be in life, in my experience. So we got 5 shots at a Tristani next turn. There's 3 of those in our deck, and we know the bottom 3 cards are not it. So I've got 5 looks and a 3 of into 35 cards. Yeah, the problem is the average Gates draw is unraceable because they play the card Gates Ablaze. I think that's probably the end of the line for us. Their Vivien's gonna hit 8. I guess we could rip Assassin's Trophy as our draw step next turn and then hit Tristani off the Vivien plus. Oh, you know what? This could also be a Tristani. That could be a spell that they would have taken that they wouldn't have cast. Yeah, opponents had some good ones off the top, and we've, like, desperately needed a double spell turn and just, like, missed every time, basically. Like, if we would have had a double spell turn on one of these turns, instead of just, like, drawing a brick and then needing the Vivien to do something, we'd have had a chance, but...
No one knows the wilds like I do.
That's a close game. We got to parity at one point, and then, like, opponent ripped Vivien, and then their Vivien was just much better than ours. It's just, like, how Magic goes occasionally. Well, you know now, Nemesis. Knowing is half the battle. Bio Bolas is a Biomancer / Adapt Bolas deck. It's a 4-color, no white deck. You can find that on my website and my YouTube channel. Like lots of other sweet things that exist in the format. I think this is fine. My deck doesn't actually need double black, so if we just, like, draw some spells, we'll be in a great spot. We get to curve. Hero into Reaper. Like, obviously I don't have anything to trigger the hero, but the 2 spells that I have are great. Also, my opponent's deck is a Thought Erasure configuration of Sultai, which, against the card Thought Erasure, I'm less inclined to mulligan. Yeah, Duress this. Get out of here. Nice mulligan. Look at that. Cleverly left my Duress target on top of my deck. Skillfully left the Duress target on top of my deck. Pure unadulterated skill. That was not the Vraska I wanted for Christmas. Unfortunately, after our first skillful draw, the rest of our draws have been less than stellar here. So, trophying this as opposed to a different piece of removal means they can play Vivien next turn, but I can't let this hit me. I don't have a better line, so... just gotta, like, do this and cross my fingers. I'm doing this now as opposed to waiting for their turn, because if they untap and play a blue source, they'd be able to Frilled Mystic me, which would be bad. Alright, so hoping for a removal spell here. Fortunately, we've not been good about being able to line up our things here. Can you ask why you cut Kaya post-board? I think she could be good versus Fine Finality alone. Yeah, she's... so you just listed why we cut her. We cut her because she's only good against that one card. So I don't really want to play a card that's bad everywhere except in that one spot. And our deck is more than capable of generating enough 2-for-1s in our average draw to grind through Fine Finality and Hydroid Crisis. So, I'm not interested in playing a card that I can sometimes struggle to protect for the purposes of only making their Fine Finality worse. I think that's not a good use of our mana or resources. I think we're probably dead here. Just like, what, drew like 2 spells this game? Neither of which generated card advantage for us. I'm waiting on the Tocatli Honor Guard because if I draw Tristani, I want to make tokens with it, and Tristani's my way I get back in this game. Yay, magic. I think that matchup's pretty good for us in general, but you have to have spells to actually play magic, unfortunately, so... Onward, upward, backward, forward. Yeah. They rigged the shuffler against us since they know it's top 1,000 this month, right? Keeping us out. Just how Magic goes in general. You're gonna have a lot of games of Magic like that. That's why, like I said, one of the biggest things I would encourage you to do if you're someone that wants to get involved, especially in competitive Magic, is don't focus on the record that you have with specific decks. Think more abstractly about the things that are within your control and like what happened in your games and why you had the outcomes you had, if you could improve them, if they were outside of your control, etc., etc. It's a little bit slow, but it's got a trophy to start. I'd like a 2 or a 3 drop maybe. Go ahead and kill this. Trophying them when we're on the draw feels a little bit bad. Depends on what their payoff is here. They just have, like, another creature that dies to Mortify. It's not that big of a deal. They have, like, a Planeswalker ahead of curve. It could be bad. They have a 1/1 for 2. Sure. Sign me up. I'm gonna play a 4/3, I think. Seems to have worked out well for us. Do I want to attack? Yeah, I think so. Oh, they have a march here, huh? That makes sense. They're gonna have like march into heroic reinforcements, or it's gonna get dumpstered. Sure. Take 6 down to 12. I'm gonna shock down to 10 and play Tristani. And then we're pretty solidly ahead at this point. Even if they have a removal spell here, Knight trades for this and these trade here, and they only have one thing left over, and I have a pretty good hand at all things considered. Yeah, that card really doesn't have text. They don't kill us like this next turn, we'll be in a great spot.
Balance.
Flower Flourish could be bad for us this turn. Yeah, second March could maybe be scary. I agree with that. We need to start going wide here, basically. Tristani of their own is pretty good. Gives them a little bit more favorable attacks on this board. I think if they attack like this, I'm going to trade here and have this bounce off of one of these, let Vivien go to 2, and then I can mortify their Tristani and start getting ahead from there. If they attack with this as well, I'll have this eat here, these two trade here, and this go here. Yeah, I think these attacks are great for us, actually. So we're both going to gain some life. My Vivien's going to go to 2. They're going to be left with a bunch of tokens, but I've got Mortify plus Tithe Taker here, which is pretty good for me. I still have my Knight of Autumn as well.
Now we're getting started. You can't stop nature.
I suppose they do get to kill my Vivien here, huh? They have to throw away a bunch of tokens to do so, but they do get to kill my Vivien. If they throw away half their tokens, Vivien gets to die. And they can read that I have the Mortify in my hand because they know about this Tithe Taker and I didn't cast it. I wonder if it's right to have played... Oh, I guess I can keep Vivien. I guess I can do this, huh? I can block like this and then Mortify a token to keep my Vivien. I think that's right, actually. Oh, no, that doesn't... Oh, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I was thinking they were 1/1s in my head because I was killing this, but that...
New beginning.
I'm a big dumb stupid, chat. I think we're still ahead. That was definitely a mistake. We're still ahead, but that was definitely a mistake. Yep.
I have my strength is our strength.
Well, no longer ahead. Oh, I have this to hit this, right? So that doesn't really matter. It kind of matters. Alright, so put this to 6. Do I attack with this too? Nah, probably not. Alright, so let's do this.
Finally, some fire from you.
So I can Tithe Taker. And then I'm going to sack the Tithe Taker to this so that way I get another flying token. Subtle, thanks for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Ah, and just like that. Look at that. My deck's super powerful and pulled us out of my mistake. Yay, good cards. Yay, good cards. Who has the better 4-mana Planeswalker? You decide. It's me. I do. Why not Vraska the Shana? Because that's not a legal play.
My strength is our strength.
This can't be targeted by your opponent's spells or abilities. That protects it from things like Planeswalkers and other things like Ravenous Chupacabra, Hostage Taker, etc. You played games where either Tocatli was useful. We have, actually. We played a little bit with Tocatli on stream last week, I think it was. We played a Naya Tokens deck and it was pretty good in it. And then next turn, they're actually going to be forced to attack into this Vraska, otherwise it ults, right? And the ult is lethal. So I didn't attack anything at them because the Vraska ult means they're dead even from 35. So we're just gonna like keep their Planeswalker down and like protect mine.
From the will of many, the might of
Oh,
one.
big Trampler, eh? It's a big one. What if I blocked with everything? Oh, they're gonna attack everything in here? That makes sense. Okay. I think this is still like this is still like this is the game is ending here. It's just not gonna end via Vraska emblem now. So they lose their entire board. I lose Knight and Seraph and Vraska goes to 5.
You'll have to try harder than that.
You double block the Trampler and let her take 1? Yeah, probably. Probably. Moment of Craving sounds good here. They have Hero in their deck, and they have, what's it called? Trophy sounds good against their Tristanis. Vraska seems fine. Ajani seems okay. It's probably not a Knight of Autumn matchup. Tithe Taker's probably not very good here, right? Like, they have a bunch of 1/1s, and this doesn't trigger my hero, and they're not playing a ton of spells on my turn. So I think I'm going to go down to just one of those. This seems reasonable. This seems reasonable. I think I like it. I think that first hand's too slow. This is fine if it draws a black source. We're on the draw. Go on, APR. Fantastic. I'm not gonna shock this in. I don't think I want to Assassin's Trophy something this early. Zerta Goblin. Huh. Zerta Goblin actually makes me want... Tithe Taker back in my deck just so I have more early plays. I didn't realize they were as low to the ground as Zerta Goblin implies. This also makes me want the Knight back in my deck. They have another Lava Coil or removal spell. This feels really bad, but if they don't, it's super good. Definitely, my opponent playing a bit of a brew definitely won them the game there. Was not familiar with what they were doing and wasn't sure exactly how I needed to be sideboarded. Tithe Taker becomes a lot more appealing. Knight of Autumn does too. I think the Vivien and the Vraska are a little bit too expensive at the top end. I think this top end is probably plenty. Do I want these Midnight Reapers to trade inside of combat? I don't think I do. I think they're a little bit of a liability. This seems good. Yeah, I'm going to trim one trophy and leave a Vivien in. Card advantage is nice. I mean, even if they switch to, like, an over-the-top build, we still have plenty of card advantage in our deck, I think. Between, like I'm leaving 6 Planeswalkers in and Seraph, so... I definitely was boarded incorrectly for that second game, though. Tocatli does not impact Riot, no. And again, that's like one of the powerful things about this Abzan deck is that even though I've pivoted my stance a little bit, I can still assume a variety of roles because a lot of my cards are extremely flexible. Riot is a replacement effect as the card enters the battlefield. It's one of those confusing, Magic is easy to understand things. Yay, Magic! Skillfully outplayed our opponent. Big brain, huge IQs. Haste is different. Haste is a state-based keyword. This was the perfect draw. Just wanted a 2-drop. So we get to curve 2-drop into Kaya here. No play, no play, no play. Sweet. If they had a play on 2, we might have been in trouble. But like if their play on 3 here is History of Benalia, Kaya lines up perfectly into that. This is an easy block here. Yeah, so we trade this here, and then Kaya comes out and exiles this. And we get to take over. I'm gonna attack here because I'm happy if they trade. They have Conclave Tribunal here. They can take my Imperious and my Kaya off the table. Yeah, I agree, the Freak. I'm really hoping we have a sweet range of Planeswalkers in this next set. Like, I want more Kayas, Dovin, Domries, and more Kaya, Dovin, Domries, and less Viviens and Teferi's. I think we're getting in a pretty good spot here, right? So I get to do this, and then I get to play Seraph of the Scales here. And then, like, I get to curve into this Tristani here as well. I think this was too cute and actually good for us. I think they should have just played this pre-combat and made their things indestructible. Hey, do y'all like Planeswalkers? How do you feel about Planeswalkers? Are they good or are they great? Lol, Vivien.
I didn't think that can't help you now.
Man, talk about having answers that lined up well into their threats. That was just impressive. That was just like just everything they played. It's like, nope, kill that one. Nope, stop it. Stop it. So, the Lyra at the end there actually gives me some pause, because it's like, where exactly is their deck at? Like, are they playing Angels? Am I supposed to leave these Viviens in my deck? Am I not supposed to bring in all these moments? Like, they started with a 1-drop, but then they didn't have a 2. I don't know exactly where I'm supposed to be at post-board here. There's a chance maybe these Moment of Cravings aren't good. I feel like there's a chance that my opponent's deck is a little bit bigger. I'm going to cut a Tristani, and maybe I'm not going to bring in all these moments. Fringe Devil, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I'm going to give this a try. Like I said, I don't know exactly what they're doing. They're playing a little bit of a brew. Not 100% sure where I need to be at post-board. The fact that they kept the hand without a 2-drop makes me think that they could be a little bit bigger. So Zan obviously needs to draw a green source, but if it does, it's super reasonable, and it's got a good 2-drop on 2, so... This is a good draw, because it means if I draw another white or black source without green mana, I'll have a play on 4. Ideally, we just hit the green source next turn and then like curve Knight into Seraph. Oh, they do have Lockstone in their deck too. Okay. Alright, if we hit an untapped land next turn, Seraph starts generating chump blockers with heroes, so that's good. Oglark's gonna trade for a Sky Marcher here. We'll take 7 inside of combat and go to 11. Yeah, they could just be weenies with a random Leer in the main. Alright, gain 5, go to 10. Really need to draw a land here that's untapped. Yikes. Alright. Huh. I don't even think it's really fair to call that 3-color problems too much, Dude Light, just because, like, if you look at that game, like, I just didn't have a 4th land, right? Like, that game wasn't about not having my colors, it was like the fact that I just couldn't play Magic because I didn't have a land. Wish Bant Friends was still good, definitely a deck that attracted me to your streams, looking forward to more wacky, cool Super Friends next month. What's going on, Catalim? Good to have you here, hope you're having a good one. This card's actually pretty reasonable against us. Although I guess to a degree, I have a lot of X1s that get to block this over and over again. Like, I think I'm okay with this dealing 4 here. Like, it leaves a thing behind. Oh, they're just trading. That seems really good for me. Maybe they're a little bit scared because they're on the draw here. I'm not even playing any Magic anymore, but I did resubscribe. Dowda Buddha, thank you for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. One of your finest lands, please. Thank you. Oh, they couldn't activate it because of Tithe Taker. Yeah, you're super right. Seraph is really good at making Adonto worse. It's just like, well, what if we just 4 you in the air every turn? That makes paying 4 for this a lot less appealing. I wonder what's in their hand. I wonder if they have a splash color and they're just not hitting it. If they had, maybe they have Baffling End. They have Conclave Tribunal, they would have used it. If they had a payoff, they would have used it. Marshall, sure. I would love to block here, thank you. Land. 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 Untapped land? I should be more specific. Untapped land. Do they have Conclave Tribunal? They just didn't use it last turn? Weird. So that turn, the turn where they passed, they either had Conclave Tribunal or they had... They either had Conclave Tribunal or had, yeah. So what do I want to do here? I actually can't play both of these so I don't have double black. I think I'm just going to play Tristani. Attack them for 2 with this. Actually, I'm going to attack them with both of these. They're at 8 from paying so much life here. Yeah, white aggro is very good. If you're looking for a deck that's really efficient at laddering, white aggro is probably a great choice. Especially with the blue splash or the Jeskai. The Jeskai aggro likes on my website. I think both of those are fantastic choices for laddering. Yeah, this game's been a good example of role assessment. Just like being able to recognize the fact that like I need to be the beatdown here. Yep. It's always good. Yeah, good set overall. On to the next one. Almost inching our way ever more slowly towards the top 1,000. Opponent mulligan. If my opponent's playing an aggro deck, this hand is rancid. If they're playing any kind of mid-range or control, it's kind of fine, so I'm going to keep it. Maybe that's a bad hedge. I'm supposed to mulligan in the dark. That is an excellent draw. So this draw actually means that I want to Overgrown Tomb on 1, so that way I can go Isolated Chapel, Oligarch on 2. Does it? Yeah, it probably does. It's a little awkward. This draw means if I would have played this on 1, I could have played this on 2. So like now I gotta choose between playing Midnight Reaper on 3 and Seraph guaranteed on 4. It's like green-white stuff. Sure. Yep. Alright, now I'm going to put Midnight Reaper into play here. So I think there's a good chance my opponent attacks with all their stuff next turn, and then I want to, like, trade this here, I'll get a Spirit, and I'll draw 2 cards. I'll take 4 altogether down to 12. Because I assume they want to flip their Legion's Landing here. That gives me a pretty... Drawing 3 cards here, basically, gives me a good chance to flip my, or to hit my Seraph on curve. Would be ideal. Our Memorial to Folly being a real cost this game, all things considered. We'll see what kind of scary stuff they can do with 4 or 5 mana this turn. If they have a land, they can play a 5-drop. Alright, we hit our manas, but they're gonna deal some more damage to us here. No play is absurd for us. Sign me up. I'm low enough at this point that I'm not attacking with the Spirit token. I feel like at this point my opponent's out of cards and I'm going to be the control deck. So the longer this game goes, the more I'm favored with cards like Vivien Reid in my hand. Just want to be as conservative as possible. If my opponent plays a 6th land this turn, I'm going to need to chump block this Thorn Lieutenant with the Spirit token because they'll be able to turn this into a 6/7. Hey Jeff, love your content. I wish your times were different because I can only watch in the afternoon at work. What's going on, Virtue? Thanks for being here. I appreciate the support. When, what's the word that I'm searching for? When the new set drops at the end of April, I'll be doing some extended hours again. Dunk. So I assume the Ladanto. When they attack with Thorn Lieutenant next turn, I will block with a 2/2 and gain 2. And then we can get this this Vivien going. Actually, I suppose I could just play this other Seraph and give the first one Vigilance. Just, like, race them in the air, basically. Sure, you have a 2/2. We didn't attack with Thorn Lieutenant. I guess that makes sense. In 8 months, you taught me loads of magic, but I'm part of Twitch chat, so I'll never learn anything. Need a timeout to think about that. Tom Toad, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. And thank you for the very generous tier 2 resub. Alrighty, I'm going to do this. I'm going to crack them for 5 in the air with Vigilance here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and Vraska shoot the Thorn Lieutenant. It leaves them a 1/1 behind, but that seems like it leaves us in an okay spot. Hey, Gear Tap, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Played this deck at the Standard Showdown, got first at 4-0. Nice. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. The play patterns this deck produces just have a lot of variety in them, which I find enjoyable. It's a mid-range deck that's not playing Crisis, which is appealing to me in this format. It's hipster mid-range, right? Like, all the good mid-range decks are playing Crisis. We don't need Crisis to be cool, chat. We're cool all on our own. I wonder if they have a Flower Flourish here they're thinking about jamming. I don't know. I don't know if things are going to get much better for them. Maybe they have a Conclave Tribunal. Vivien Reid will make that card real sad. Alright. That is definitely a type of play that could make this good for them. So, let's do this. Send this in with Vigilance. I think I just play another Seraph out here. Am I dead to a +3/+3 at this point? I don't think I am. I get to block 5 things, and then I take 9, 11, and I gain 4. So I'm not dead to Flower Flourish here, which is a good position to be in. I would have been dead to end step March untap Flourish. Alright, Moment of Craving sounds great. Trophy doesn't seem too fantastic. Kaya minusing to shoot tokens is okay, but I don't think it's good enough to want a third. I think it's pretty unlikely that Oath of Teferi is going to be very good. Usually you'd rather just have another Planeswalker rather than be casting Oath of Teferi. Ajani seems pretty reasonable here. I think I'm going to trim the Assassin's trophies. I'm going to trim the Kayas too, actually. Ajani making my creatures bigger to block their tokens seems profitable. If they have slightly bigger things, I have Mortify still and Vivien's and Vraskas. So I think I like this. Midnight Reaper's nice in a matchup like this because it means when I trade my 2/1s for their tokens, I'm at least drawing a card instead of just strictly falling behind. Immortal Sun is $30 right now. That one's a mythic rare though, right? Does that make sense? We are the 98%. 1 or 2 more wins and we might be able to claw our way back up into real numbers. I'm gonna play 4 color gates after this. I think I'm gonna play 4 color gates on the ladder too. It looks like pretty reasonable. And we actually haven't been hitting that much mono blue, which is the one place it really struggles. Seems fine. Turn 1 Woodland Cemetery, turn 2 2-drops. Needs to draw some land, but if it does, it's going to be in a very reasonable position. Donto is interesting. So, do I play Tithe Taker and preserve my health total? I think I'm going to play Hero. I'm going to play Hero here, because if I draw an untapped land in the next 2 draws, I can go Hero into Vraska, and like start generating a ton of blockers that way. You keep 2-0ing mono blue with gates, or you're just very lucky. Yeah, sounds like it. The blue matchup's very tough with that deck. You just don't have enough meaningful interaction. In my experience. Alright. Love to put another 2/2 into play here. Another thing about the mono blue deck though is the mono blue deck has a lot of play to it, so the difficulty of the matchups that you're playing is going to tend to differ greatly based on the caliber of the person you are playing against. Huh? I'm gonna double Tithe Taker here. If I Vraska, I can't, like, meaningfully plus her, which kind of sucks. And then hopefully I draw a land next turn and get to jam this Tristani. MTG Finance is so rancid. And my favorite part about Arena is the fact that I just, like, don't have to worry about the price of cards. You know what Bedevil costs? One rare wild card. Cost the same thing it did today as when it was released. Another Conclave Tribunal. That's a good rip. I assume I'm losing my hero here. Now I really need to draw land. I think before this Conclave Tribunal, I could have missed on my land for the turn, but with that, I really need to hit one. Oh, I'm going to play this and kill their Amara, I think. Guess need to stem the bleeding a little bit. Hopefully Vraska does a, hey, look at distraction. They ship things into her. Yeah, I agree, Arth. If you're someone that's mostly interested in playing Magic and doesn't enjoy the finance side gets very tedious a lot of the time. Well then. Hey, Misfit Mazevis, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Great. 2 shots at a land. Perfect. Do I want to sack Tithe Taker? I think I do. Going up to 5 points of health here is meaningful because it means I can take an extra hit from a 2/2. So that one, drawing the card is relevant too, but the life differential here is important. And like, obviously they have like a removal spell or another unbreakable formation. We're probably just dead, but I think this line gives me the best chance to win. Alright, so I'm really hoping to draw a multicolored spell here, I think. I guess I could shoot something and cash this in, but I think that's not ideal. That's fantastic. So let's do this and play a tapped land, and then I can mortify this Conclave Tribunal inside of combat next turn. Which gives me a blocker, and it gives me 2 blockers because of this hero I have in play. Yeah, it looks like we're en route to stabilization here. This deck seems to be really good against these aggressive mid-range decks for a lot of the same reasons that Sultai is, which is that, like, we stabilize, then we gain some life, and it's really good for us. So this makes it 2/2, which gets to block the Adanto Vanguard, make them pay 4, which isn't a big win for us, but it's, like, better than nothing. Yep, Arth keeps the clutter clean, so that way, because people watching at home don't really care about the bot commands. So I figure why make them see it. Alright, so Vraska is going to down tick on their 2/2. Vivien's going to come into play, shoot this Conclave Tribunal.
Would you like to see what's left? No one said restoration was painless.
Attacks, go. So I'm going to take the hit from the Vanguard this turn down to 2. And then next turn we'll hopefully plus Vivien, hit a multicolored creature, and go to town. Just have plenty of blockers.
The wilds are my shield.
That's incredibly unfortunate. Alright, here's hoping our draw from this this Vraska gives us a thing. I'm gonna go ahead and sacrifice the Imperious here. Looking for a multicolor card again here. So I just have the most blockers possible here. That was fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted for Christmas. So we get a little bit unlucky there, but we just get to see so many cards each turn that just doesn't matter. Alright, out of the percentages. Slow ride, take it easy, be-do-do-do. We have a number, we're a real boy. Hey, Peel, P33JL, thank you for the Prime support, welcome, welcome. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way and keeping me employed. Yep, just that game. That game was a fantastic example of your health total is a resource, not a scoreboard. Use every bit of it. The only one that matters is the last one. This hand is really bad in this matchup. It is okay against a creature deck. It is kind of unplayable against a deck where we need to be applying pressure. We do, however, have double Mortify at least, though, so we've got that going for us. We think I'm gonna go ahead and just get Kaya into play here. To, this like, pseudo removes their search for Azcanta just because it prevents them from... It prevents them from flipping it, although they does still give them selection every turn. This allows me to save my Mortifies for Wilderness Reclamation, which they have a hard time winning without. I mean, when you win all your matches, it's super easy to hit the top 1,000. Just don't lose.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it removes Chemist's Insight from the bin on occasion. That's not always relevant, but sometimes it is. Triple bottom. That bodes well for us. So, I have to make a decision this turn. I could just jam the Tristani, but if they play Wilderness Reclamation, they could technically combo me next turn. I think it's worth risking that to play the Tristani. Just because if I give them lots of time, we're very unlikely to win. And Tristani puts an incredible amount of power into play here. So my hope is I get to stick the Tristani this turn, and then I hold up Mortifies moving forward and get to win the game from there. But they could go land, Reclamation, start taking turns with Nexus, and then flip the Search for Azcanta while taking a bunch of extra turns. So this is a calculated risk. It is definitely a risk. We could not take another turn, but I think it's correct to take this chance to put a lot of pressure into play. All right, we got a turn. That's step one.
And hit the road.
Watching so many best of one streams, I legit forgot Nexus was a thing. Lucky you. I mean, that's definitely why they banned it in Best of One. They didn't want Nexus of Fate being a thing at their big tournament next weekend. Nexus of Fate looks really embarrassing for Magic to outside players, just like the type of gameplay it generates isn't something they want to advertise, I don't think. I didn't play the Tithe Taker because I want double Mortify up here. Yeah, it's embarrassing to the enfranchised players, but we're enfranchised. We're not going anywhere.
You must feel pretty smart right now.
You must feel pretty smart right now. I do actually. Huh? So this is 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, let's start on this. Because they have to chemisters in response here. Wait, do they just chemisters out of their hand instead of the one jump started? That's great. Kaya often doesn't get one chemisters, much less two, but you know, I'll take it. That's true. That's true. I think a lot of people don't it's easy to forget that that card's actually in your hand when it's over off to the side, right? Yeah, Kaya's been great here. She's not amazing in this matchup, but we just didn't have other better tools, so she's able to give them a real workout. If they do get in danger of flipping this just from casting Natural Nexuses of Fate, we are going to have to Mortify this, but ideally I want to save this Mortify for Wilderness Reclamation. Blue-Black Pirates deck was the first deck that felt right when I started playing Arena, and I went 2-1 with it in my LGS. Awesome, Monkey Minded. Yeah, Pirates is a lot of fun. Its Sultai matchup is a little bit worse than its Green-Black matchup was, but overall the deck's still very reasonable. Alright, do you have a Root Snare or are you dead? So there's 5 cards in their bin. Oh, Kaya's ult is lethal. Got it. Next turn it'll be lethal, right? So Root Snare is no longer a time walk for them, basically. There are 5 cards in here. So if they cast a Nexus of Fate this turn, I'm going to need to kill this. They might pop a Memorial in response. They could have popped a Memorial in response to this to try and flip this. So if they cast Nexus of Fate here, I'm going to kill this in response. Stop it. Alright, so they're dead. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Mortify is very well positioned. Oh, that's cute. They don't realize Kaya's lethal. Token. Got a sweet little animation, too. Give him the chair. Give him the chair. Midnight Reaper comes out. Tristani comes out. Seems fine. Seems fine. This deck, I think this deck has a decent Nexus matchup, Burgle. It's one of the appeals of playing it. We have our interaction is good. Yeah. Their deck doesn't win without their enchantments, so being able to like pressure their enchantments, even Kaya there showing her flexibility, and, like being reasonable in the matchup. Sand's not amazing, but it's fine. Tithe Taker's pretty okay in this matchup. We get to lead on that here. Make their Frilled Mystics and such worse. think I want to play Hero here, so that way I can Seraph the following turn and make more tokens. I don't have any interaction in this hand, so I just need to try and race them, which generally isn't a winning strategy, but it's all we've got here. I can't just let this make me pump my brakes, so here's my thing, smash you. Sure. They didn't block Hero because Tithe Taker has relevant text against them. Alright, really need an untapped land here. If we had an untapped land, we'll be in a very good spot. Probably dead. Yay, magic. Didn't really matter. Their hand's kind of good. I guess if I hit the land there, the Vraska kills the Krasis and they don't have anything to attack me with, which is nice. I think I'm gonna click submit. Yeah, I just couldn't power through the Krasis and like the combo stuff in their hand. Too many good pieces there for us, unfortunately. I don't think I can keep this in good conscience. I need pressure in this matchup. I'm the beatdown. I'm really excited for the London Mulligan to exist. This is just gonna be like one of those games where just like, I think I keep this because the hand's really good, and if I hit a black source, we like head off to the races, but we're just like gonna miss our second land and die. Alright, it's not a black source, but at least lets us play magic. Sure. Yeah, sure. That's the appeal of the London Mulligan, Mazer Mouse. It lets you make more educated decisions. Allows a good player to leverage their skill more often by making more informed decisions, instead of just like looking at their hand and going, well, time to gamble, because that's my only choice. Do I get another turn? I think blacks are most represented color in our mana base, right? I think there's 16 black. Seven, 8, 9, 13, 14. No, only 15 black, I guess. Hey, J Sims, thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. I think it's important that you have some number of basic lands in your deck. I think playing a non-zero amount of basics is really important. Thanks for the Prime support. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yep. Win one, move up, lose one, go down. Occasionally win 2 in a row and actually make some headway. We did start at 95%, so like we're at 98, so we've technically moved up. Never losing's a good line. It's definitely a running hot is a solid line. It's a good way to win Magic tournaments and climb up the ladder. Hey, Jay Breezy, thanks for the prime support. I appreciate it. I don't think we're going to play the Bant Vanafear deck on the ladder today. I think I plan to play 4 color gates on the ladder. The Bant Vanafear deck is a build that the submitter cut the Wild Growth Walker package from, which I think is pretty bad. I think playing green mid-range in standard and not playing the Wild Growth Walker package is a pretty big punt. That package adds a lot of consistency to your deck in terms of hitting land drops and gives you an unbeatable draw against aggro, which is pretty important. I think I sacrificed one of these tokens, even though it's a 2-turn clock. There's a pretty good chance they're going to do things to kill them anyway, so might as well. Sheriff Wiggles, thanks for the tip. 1 month off cigarettes today. Let's put some of that money to my new addiction, Hoaglandia, for the Polyrunner deck. Will do. I think I just pick up and replay Tithe Taker here. What makes this an Abzan hero deck rather than Abzan Midrange? Because it plays a card called Hero of the Precinct One. Usually when decks have a... Usually the way we name decks is either color combination archetype or color combination key card that they play. Or the 2 ways that we name things. So I'm going to lead on Mortify here for the Search for Azcanta. And if they have an Absorb, I can play Kaya, which will also keep the Search for Azcanta from flipping. And it gives me a threat in play, so I think they counter whichever of these I play first, and I think I'd rather the Kaya resolve. I mean, even your homebrews, you name them in a way that makes sense, so when people look at the deck list, you go, yeah, that's what this deck does. Yeah, there's a reason why names like Tron and Spanish Inquisition, all the other random things the old-timey Magic players are naming in chat aren't types of deck names that we use anymore. We don't use deck names like that because they add extra jargon, which makes it harder for new people to start playing Magic. It makes the game feel like an old boys club that's exclusive instead of including people. Alright, I mean, Kaya's lethal next turn, right? There's 4 cards in exile. So I'm not 100% sure which of these 2-drops I want to cut in this matchup. Hero and these cards, the Afterlife cards, all suck against Cry. But these are much better against Kaya's Wrath. I might split the difference and go 2-1. How many multicolor cards do I have post board? This is 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19. I'm actually just going to cut all the heroes. Or most of the heroes. I don't have that many multicolored cards. I'm trimming a lot of them. A couple of people have asked about cutting Mortify in this matchup. And you can't have that many reactive cards in our deck. And because we're leaving in the 4 Assassins trophy, I think those are better than the Mortifies. Just because they're more flexible and can kill Planeswalkers. We have things like Vraska and Vivien and Trophy and things like that to kill Entristanis to counter their Thief of Sanity. So I think it's fine to cut the Mortifies. I moved my face so that way these diamonds that indicate when my opponent has won a game in our match can be visible. So that way when you come into the stream late, you can look at the overlay and see what game we're in. Opponent is as hungry as I am, apparently.
I like a good fight. Notice I didn't say fair. I thought you said your goodbyes already. Let's tear this place apart.
So, I didn't trophy Kaya there for two reasons. One, we might just be able to beat Kaya by attacking her. Two, if I trophied Kaya, it would give them access to an island, which means they could Disdainful Stroke or negate my Vivien Reid. It's unfortunate they killed my, took my Vraska earlier. No, my bed frame's just a random one off Amazon, Marty. Something my wife picked up. Vraska would be nice because she could turn these lands into resources. I'm gambling a little bit by trophying the Kaya here. Like, if they draw, like, a Search for Azcanta or a Teferi, I'm really sad. And this is like, sometimes you're just not meant to win games of Magic. Just, like, plus Vivien, and then our draw steps are lands, and then, like, their draw step is Teferi. Which is how Magic goes sometimes. To take the next one on the plate. Hopefully have a better mix of lands and spells for ourselves here. I don't know, 3 frags. If you're in the subs Discord, you could ping my wife and ask her. She would be able to check our history. Vivien misses a lot when you sideboard out creatures in matchups like these. I didn't sideboard out that many creatures, so I don't know if that's a fair assessment. I cut 3 creatures, which means I have 19 creatures. So I think I disagree with your assessment. I think this hand's a mulligan. It needs to draw lands and it needs to draw spells. I don't have any 2-drops for Ajani, even if I get to play it. And I don't have a white source to cast it. I'm just like, this hand's kind of unplayable too. Yay, Magic. Yeah, I think I'd consider keeping that first hand if it had a second white in it, but without one, I agree. Need to play catch and release. Well, our opponent's hand is great. Ours is not so much. Nah, I don't really want to work out what I would need, what the dollar amount would have to be for that K-Mueller. I've got a basically endless deck queue, so I'm not really, like, looking to rock the boat by changing things up. Gonna not play into their Absorb here. Dear Shushi, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. For nearly 10 years, I've started playing Standard again thanks to your content. Keep it up. Well, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Glad to hear you're enjoying Standard. Format's a lot of fun right now. Format has some good games in it. There is Nexus of Fate 2, but we persevere. The problem here is that, like, I get to trophy this, and then, like, they untap 2 lands, and they, like, still have Absorb up, because, like, the trophy gives them a land. And then, like, they have another tap free next turn, which, like, lets them hold Absorb up. Won 2 in a row, lost 2 in a row. I'm gonna try one more with this one, try and end with it on a high note. We'll move along the gates. A lot of bad beats so far. Steve ate my cat. Thanks for the Prime support. Welcome. 5-drop. It's very similar to a land. Opponents manually tapping in their Esper control deck even when they're tapping out for their spells every turn because they hate themselves and others. They hate technology and they hate being efficient. Black Source is great. Third land is great. I don't think I have the sideboard guide stuff on the website. Usually I look for a $25 donation stuff, Seth. They have Conclave Tribunal. We might be a little bit slow here. Although I guess I have Knight of Autumn to kill that. They might smash with everything and, like, trade their 1/1 into my 2/2 to flip their Legion's Landing, depending on what their hand looks like. Been learning more about Magic since watching you. Thought I had a lot figured out, but you teach me stuff I'd never thought of before. Well, good to have you here. Thanks for keeping me around, Steve. Oh, wait. You're not Steve. You're saying Steve ate your cat. I don't know what your name is. Twitch usernames are so... Twitch usernames are like onions, chat. They have layers in them. Marty doling out the sub-gifty. I think I'm going to play this. And play this tapped. This might be a little greedy. I don't know. They didn't make a play last turn. Which feels weird to me. Hopefully we hit a land and play Seraph next turn or Vraska. That's not terrible. This makes 2 1/1s and then shoots a 3/2. Would you say that would be good for top 10 decks off of Goldfish? I usually just look at whatever decks are popular in the format, Chef Seth. Usually there is between 10 and a dozen decks for modern guides. I'm just gonna jump block here. And, like, this next turn, Kaya goes down again and exiles this. Then, like, I play a Knight of Autumn as a 4-3. So, do I play a Knight or do I play a Seraph because it's more resource efficient? I think I play the Knight because it doesn't hammer my health total. I think this being a 4-3 is better than killing the Conclave Tribunal. The upside to playing Seraph is that it keeps Sky Marcher from killing Kaya, which is appealing. But like if they're pumping the brakes on attacking me to hit Kaya, that also seems like a win.
Your back from here on out.
Using my health total as a bit of a resource here. The land into the Tristani is an A+ draw for us. The lifelink tokens solidify this game pretty solidly. Even if they find a +1/+1 at this point, we might still have a chance since we hit the Tristani. The games you lose to the mono-white deck, in my experience with this one, are the ones where they draw a lot of their Anthem effects that let them make their creatures bigger than yours. Put Seraph into play here. I think I'm just going to put this into play tapped rather than playing Tithe Taker sooner. The fact that they played a 3-3 here means that my lifelink tokens can't really pressure through. They are making tokens with the Adanto first fort, which means we do need to close the game out sooner rather than later, because eventually they're going to find something that gives their team +1/+1, and then they'll be bad for us. Golgari Queen's going to get to exile that. And by exile, I mean destroy. And then she'll also start drawing cards, so Vraska's going to come down here. Smack history. They're not low enough at this point that I think they're at a high enough health total that I'd rather play Tithe Taker than attack with Seraph. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Next turn we get to start drawing 2 cards a turn, which should solidly pull us ahead. The fact that they have this going is not irrelevant though. Thankfully I do have this hero. Mortify would be an okay rip because it would kill their Conclave Tribunal and let us start making more tokens with our multicolored spells. Midnight Reaper, there's a dangerous one.
Being ruthless has its
Next turn, if we don't draw anything meaningful, I'm probably going to... If we don't draw anything meaningful next turn, I'm probably going to play this and then sacrifice it. So that way, I draw 2 cards and stay life neutral. The fact they forgot to activate the Adanto on their turn, it sucks for them. They're down a token because of my Tithe Taker. Yeah, Tithe Taker impacts Adanto, so that's why they couldn't make a token there. What's it called? The Bear someone, their new director of esports, he did an interview the other day talking about how they had no plans to come to mobile, which made me happy. Magic's a great game, and I would love to see it grow more, but it just doesn't translate well to mobile. Oh, did I tap too many white sources? I totally tapped too many white sources. I need to use this Mortify now because they have double Tithe Taker. We're kind of getting to a point where if they rip formation they could be in this game. But my board is getting bigger every turn too, so I got that going for me. I have a really big phone. My phone is huge. I'll never believe how big my phone is. Bring in Moment of Cravings and the last Kaya. Cut Vivien's and Midnight Reaper. Seems good. Click submit. Thanks everyone for hanging out today, by the way. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday wherever you're out in the world. If you're new, thanks for dropping in. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream Magic full-time here on Twitch. We're here doing Magic every Monday through Friday. We do a ton of standard best of 3 here on Arena. Usually we change decks every hour or two, so we get a lot of variety throughout the day. Usually I play 4 different standard decks at a minimum per day. This is going to be our last match with this Abzan Hero deck. If this is your first time seeing it, you want to learn more about it, you can find a full primer on it, including a sideboard guide in my article on coolstuffinc.com from yesterday. You can also find more videos of it on my website and my YouTube channel. You're playing some 4-color gates up after this one. I mean, as someone who owns a Switch, the Nintendo Switch is about the size of a lot of cell phones, so I feel like it's not going to work on a Switch for a lot of the same reasons why it wouldn't work on a phone. This one has a scry, I guess. I'll keep that. Ready for my sword. Thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that, No Lava. We're up to 48 songs. That's a lot of sing-songs. It's a lot of sing-songs. You think Tocatli is better than Tithe Taker? Maybe? I could see that, I guess. They're also stumbling, so we got that going for us. Who will unstumble first? The Magic the Gathering story. Turadorf, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. The terrifying thing about this is that the fact that they're stumbling means their hand is all things that cost 3 or more mana, right? That's the scary part here. What is your opinion on the current ladder format versus rankings derived from leagues like MTGO? I don't know what you mean by that. In what way are you asking me to make a comparison, Hacksaw? What are you asking for my opinion about between them? Are you asking for like my personal preference between the two? As in general, I prefer the ranked ladder rather than having to gamble on Magic Online. Yeah, maybe Tocatli Honor Guard's a lot better. I mean, like, we have what are basically leagues in Magic Arena, and I think the play quality that I get playing in Mythic on the ladder, it tends to be higher than the leagues. Because, like, anyone can spend money and join an event and have a deck. Not anybody can be in Mythic. You have to do work to get there. So there's a minimum threshold that you can't just spend money to jump past, like you can with a league or a normal tournament. Well, ELO versus the ladder doesn't make sense, because the ladder uses an ELO-based system. So it's like ELO versus an event, basically, is the question. Seems pretty good. I throw money at you, you play my decks till they are good, and then I got Mythic. I mean, that's a good system. Alright. So this game's over. Got it. Got it good.
I'll phase through anything that stands in my way.
Yes, yeah, I quite literally have 5 basic lands that were altered by one of the Altarists that had sponsored my stream previously, and then I have some old Kiki Chord cards for 4 Birds of Paradise, and then a Kiki, a Chord of Calling, and a Restoration Angel. Well, I mean, it saved them 2 points of damage, Vacu, because it meant I couldn't attack them with the hero. So I don't think it's fair to call it a strict mistake. You qualify to play in a special league to make it into an event. That's literally how the system works right now, Hacksaw. You currently finish in the top 1,000 and get to play in a thing, to then play in another event. Unless you're describing what they're doing. I'm not understanding your tone. So the current setup is if you finish the month in the top 1,000, you then get to play a Saturday thing. That then qualifies you for a Sunday thing. And I agree, that setup is ideal. It's quite fantastic. I think they knocked it out of the park. I think they did a bang-up job. The top 8 grind they did for the Mythic Invitational is really terrible, but the way they have it set up this season, I think, is fantastic. Not a whole lot to say here. My opponent missed their second land drop and died. I believe the Sunday thing qualifies you for a Mythic Championship. All the details are in the link there that Marty just posted in chat for the exclamation point top 1,000. Anywho, Abzan Hero. I don't really have any changes to make to this deck. I like this list a lot. You can find the sideboard guide for this list on my website, and the Cool Stuff Inc. article and all that. Lots of other videos of it. If you're looking for a grindy mid-range deck that's not playing Krasis that can keep up with the Krasis decks. There was a really sweet match in one of the previous sets of videos I played this where we literally decked a Sultai deck in game 1. We just played through every threat in their deck, and it was really sweet. Clipsy, thanks for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. We are going to be moving along here to the next deck of the day, though. I like to keep the variety